Hello, this is Richie from the Metal Cell Podcast. I'm delighted to welcome Nomadic Rituals to the show. We've got Craig and Mark. How are we, lads?
Pretty good, cheers. Thanks for
joining us. And I've got my brilliant co-host as always, Danielle.
How are we doing?
Who is a big fan of the band,
Yeah.
you could say now at this stage.
Yeah, massive fan. I told one of my friends I was coming on this, and she was like, "Whatever you do, don't like fangirl out and be like, really obviously like, oh my god, you guys are great."
You couldn't like it that much.
So I've already done that now. So
You did it on the forums, didn't you? As well, to a degree.
I did. Yeah. Big fan of you guys. It was actually since we did the Cursed Monk podcast.
Correct.
And we threw on one of your tracks, and I was just like, "Oh, this is so me." So yeah, big fan.
Nice one. Thank you very much.
Yeah, how did that come about, actually? Let's start with Raj. Give big shout out to Raj.
Yes, big shout out to Raj. He's been great. Craig probably knows more about that side of things, actually. Yeah.
We just got talking. I mean, I'd seen him back in, we played gigs do you remember gigs in Galway?
Yeah.
Was that wee basement place? I can't remember what they call it. But anyway,
It started in the Cellar Bar. I think we played there a couple of times.
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah.
But he was doing his. Rory? What was his name?
Oh boy.
That's it. Yeah, he's doing that there. The laptop and the hood and stuff. So I got talking to him then, and then it's just years later we got, I got talking to him again, and it was like I'd been talking to a lot of other labels and stuff, trying to get stuff out, and it kind of just fell through. And I was talking to him at the same time, and he just was like, "Sure, I'll do it for you." And I'm like, "Fantastic," So,
when were the other releases? Do you fund them yourself and get them out yourself?
Oh, I get them all out ourselves mostly.
Yeah.
I think we've had like maybe an odd tape or something out by another label or something years ago, but
Oh yeah, that was well. There was a random tape sort of release through a German film, wasn't there? That was in Giants, wasn't it? That was like a lot of probably less than 50, I'm sure.
Was it Holy Giants on cassette, was it?
Yeah.
We'd done ones of for ourselves, but there was another guy that done tapes for us at the same time, and they were.
That was back in 2013, like.
Yeah, that was a while ago, so we do the rest of it ourselves. Do you know what I mean? It's like we just stick it out ourselves, and it's that thing. It's like, it is helpful to get someone on your side. Who knows what they're doing, and he's, Roger's brilliant. He's in there. He's got all his.
Everybody speaks highly of him, man. And as I said, we were seriously impressed, weren't we, Danielle, after talking to him?
Yeah, and really impressed. And as well, I thought the color of the vinyl and everything is really cool. The artwork, it's not something you'd expect from kind of your type of music, doomy stuff, which is nice. It's unexpected. And I can't wait to spin that now. Like, it's going to look class.
Yeah, we have been purchasing a lot lately, Danielle. Do you notice that?
Yeah, especially since starting the podcast.
My lads, look, it's still there.
Oh,
and I'm not breaking the seal. Yeah. I am not breaking the seal.
You got a black one too.
Is that a good thing?
No, it's just it's a sweet color. That's all. I had a whole box of them, you see, so every 10 had a different color.
Oh, I didn't know that.
That's really cool.
I think you're about the 40-50 range in the numbers.
Adding to the value as you talk, Craig. I like that, man.
That's it.
So you actually package all your stuff as well, to some degree, is it?
Yeah, we do. In fact, pretty much it all. We screen print it, we cut it, we fold it, we glue it, and
that's fantastic.
Well, we have the benefit of Craig and Frodo, Peter.
Shout out to Peter.
You're both into graphic design and art, and you know how to manipulate an image and take a good image, and Craig took the photo for the album, and
very striking one, actually.
So yeah, you guys know what you're doing. I can shift paper onto a screen printer and off again, so I'm good with manual labour.
There's always a place for you there, Mark.
No one does it just like me, to be fair.
You're at the production line.
I am. I'm the labour. Craig's the boss. Sometimes I don't even think he pays me minimum wage, to be fair. But
you get paid then, Mark.
No.
Yeah.
You get paid
Non-union member, Mark.
Yeah.
Never a good thing. How did the album cover come about, actually, Craig?
Very
striking.
I don't know. I'll say I just don't really know how it came about. I mean, creatively, you know, if you think of images and creating things, it came about in that sort of way. But since I'd moved down to Newton Ards and the Ards Peninsula, it's like there's lots of beaches and walks and things like this here. So
lovely.
You know, walking along a lot of beaches and things like that there, and I got quite interested in looking for, you know, like fossils and things like that there, and things that are old, you know, like
me.
Older, we'll say. We're talking, you know, millions of years. That's sort of, you know, geologically old.
Okay.
So yeah, I just found pieces, and I just kind of had this sort of just vision to just kind of just arrange them together and just make this like a. People have kind of described it as like a not a monolith, but something kind of like this object as a whole, and it's all little separate pieces. But if you put them all together and you frame them and take a nice photo of it, it kind of it feels like it has a bit more meaning than it does, I suppose.
Well, that's good, man.
A lot of it's just fun stuff. Yeah, well, that's it. Like it's just.
Take from what you want out of it. What about the title then, Tides? Who decided on that?
Oh, that was me again. And again, it was you know, the coming and going of the ocean. That sort of the metaphor of that sort of thing. Of, you know, things come and go, and they die, and they live, and all that sort of stuff. Like so, again, that just kind of ties into. You know, what we're doing with the artwork and things.
Yeah, it kind of tied in with the image that you took, didn't it? With there's some sort of fossil structures.
There is actually, yes.
Rocks. And
yeah, there is. It is that sort of. There's some of the rocks. It kind of has that. It's like a seabed. I think it's called bed form or something like that. There, but you find it like it's this sort of wave pattern. You see it on beaches and things like that here, but you can also find it in very old rocks. And you can find these lovely sort of preserved patterns and things like that there.
Wow, cool. Well, I must say it's one of the best albums this year anyway. Isn't it, Danielle? It's just fucking outstanding. The more you listen to it, it's just so much in it.
That's it. Yeah, like I think Tomulus is going to be one of my most listened to songs this year. I think it's... And I always think they're the best albums that when you first listen to it, you're just kind of like, oh yeah, that's good. And then when you listen to it again, you really are like, wow, that's brilliant. And I think they're the best albums. Every time I listen to one of the songs, I notice something new. And I'm like, oh, I actually can't wait to hear it live. Cannot wait to hear it live. But I was looking back on your tour dates, your old tour dates, and I seen you haven't played Limerick from what it said on the website.
It's true.
What? Jesus, you've hit Cork a rake at times.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been to Cork a bunch of times, and I don't know, for whatever reason, Limerick hasn't happened. And yeah, I mean, we'd absolutely love to play Limerick whenever we can play gigs again.
Yeah.
We'd love to do. I thanks very much for what you said about the album. That's very kind of you to say, both of you. Yeah, we'd love to play Limerick. Love to play anywhere, really, to be honest. Especially with us not getting to do any launch gigs for this album.
Yeah.
So, you know, when the time comes, it would be nice to do maybe a little micro tour of Ireland.
Oh, absolutely.
Like we did once upon a time. We had a micro tour on The Great Dying, maybe, was it? Something like that.
Was it not like 2 dates or something?
It was basically Dublin and Cork.
Yeah.
It
was Ritual of the Evil Eye was the last time you were down with us, anyway.
Wasn't that? Yeah,
2018, but I think I saw ye after that because ye were supporting Elder Druid for the launch.
Oh yeah, in Belfast.
Was the Elder Druid launch last January, possibly?
Yeah. Yeah, it came out. Golgotha came out last year on January, and I was up for the launch. And G were playing with Slomatics and who else? There's one other band.
Much for the sun.
So much for the sun. Yes.
That's a hefty gig.
Oh, what a lineup!
A lot of heft.
It was pretty heavy.
Yeah, it's
That was
fantastic.
good. That must have been the last gig, actually, was it? I think we played a couple of gigs last January, and nothing since, of course. So.
Yeah, even Danielle there, as you say, you can't wait to see him live. Like, as a three-piece, that night, my fucking jaw was on the floor with the sound she had. It's just incredible. There's a lot going on with G live, lads. There's a lot of pedals and other stuff as well in the background.
Lots of toys, like.
Lots of toys. There you go. Okay, if you don't mind, can we do a run through of the album for those that have got it and those that will be buying it from this show anyway? The first track is Cassini Huygens. Would that be right in the pronunciation?
Cassini
Huygens, yeah.
Do you know what? I am not 100% sure how to pronounce it. I'll take your word for it, Craig.
No, I think it's.
I always thought it was like Huygens or something like that, but
Yeah.
whatever. Something like that.
And who came up with the lyrical team to that?
That was Peter.
Peter.
So
I think he's been reading an article on the Cassini Huygens, whatever the fuck we're calling it. Space Probe. Yeah. And there was something piqued his interest. There was a story about the death dive.
It was
its final moment going into the atmosphere of Saturn and burning up in the atmosphere, which is pretty cool.
Oh, fuck it, I loved it. I went down a rabbit hole there, dived in straight away going,
you can get completely lost in Wikipedia for days, like just clicking on links. But it's a pretty interesting story with the Cassini Huygens probe, like in 20 years, I think, in space in total, gathering information. And I suppose that was the motivation for the lyrics, but I suppose, there's two parts to. Yeah. There's part one, the kind of launch idea, and
so Cassini was into astrology and engineering. In 1625 he was born, would you believe?
Thanks.
And he lived till 1712. So I was delighted here. Like he discovered the 4 satellites of the planet Saturn. Mm-hmm. And then Huygens then was into optics and mechanics, or 1629 to 1695, and he discovered the moon Titan. So I'm just going, holy shit, like this is brilliant. And thankfully Danielle as well, they have the lyrics on Bandcamp.
Yeah, that's a big plus for me.
For Danielle, yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
We didn't put most of our lyrics up until like this year or something. Actually.
Yeah, and actually Roger messaged me after the last podcast, and he sent me the lyrics.
No way.
I was just saying to him, like, I've too many times I've been at a gig and I've misinterpreted lyrics and I've looked like an absolute plonker, like shouting the wrong words, like, and they make no sense.
In fairness, it's fairly easy to misinterpret what Craig and Peter Goldring at any given point.
That's something that really adds to your sound as well. Like, it's not the typical kind of doom vocals. It's not what you'd expect coming from kind of a doomy band, which I think adds to it as well. But I suppose, like, from you guys, you started off in like 2012, and doom and sludge have kind of only really come to the forefront in Ireland in the last few years. Like, have you seen like a progression, like more interest in you guys in the last few years?
Well,
I think there seems to be a lot more. I don't know, feels like there's more bands doing that sort of sound, I guess. And like, we came along at the same time as they all did, so it wasn't like we were ahead of them in any shape or form, but
there's lots of people before us, like, so.
Yeah.
But I guess there is. I think it's progressed more now, not just from the point of where we started, but from our perspective, from the point we started, there's a lot more people doing that, and there's a lot more people into it, I guess.
Okay, it feels that way, but maybe that's just our interpretation of it. It's not like
Yeah, I mean, from my point of view, I wouldn't have been into sludge or probably, like, I would have been trash and death metal, basically. And it was just the scene in Ireland in relation to sludge metal was so fucking good. I just jumped in with joy because I just really enjoyed it. And it was something that never really kind of I encountered much, nor was I looking for really. But like when it's live, it's just fucking intense. Like, and that's what I love about it, just the intensity live and the heaviness.
That's what I like about
it. So the second track, which is my favourite, is Cassini Huygens Part 2, The Last Transmission. I'm hearing halfway through that some Celtic Frost.
Right.
I'm just putting it out there. And did you maybe treble layer the vocals? It's like there's some effect kind of halfway through where it's like layered vocals, and it's kind of like Mesmerized by Celtic Frost. It's like it's very clever the way it's done. I thought it was like an instrument first, but I think it's the layered vocals more so.
I'm trying to remember what was better, Craig, because you do vocals, but what did you guys do?
Around the 4-minute mark, Craig.
Is this when there's a part of, I see it as two sort of separate pieces. So it's like there's the first part, and then there's like it kind of goes off into this big washy.
Yes, the second part then. Yeah.
The second part. Well, that's Frodo. Frodo does he's doing all the shouty sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And then I kind of have this like true vocal type of voice just sort of layered underneath it.
Yeah.
You know, and I just sort of, I think it's just on certain words or something like that there, but it just kind of, it adds that sort of tone, like an underlying sort of vocal tone to it, and you hear that audible like Frodo voice.
Yeah. Third track, Dem. He released a video on that as well, didn't she? Live, was it, or in the rehearsal studios or something?
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. We made a video on the rehearsal studios. Just grabbed a ton of cameras, stuck them all together, played to the track, and then I just sat and spliced it up later on and made a wee nice video for everyone to watch.
Yeah, no, you did a good job editing it, like, to be fair. Craig originally suggested the idea, and like, we're definitely up for making videos and make more videos, I think. Maybe Frodo and I were slightly sceptical of how good it might look. Could it look really shit and naff? But us of little faith, like, you know, Craig did an amazing job sticking it all together, like, so I think it looks pretty cool.
It's a nice area, you see.
And it suits the song as well. Contemplating the Void and Contemplating My Life, or the lyrics in that. There's actually 3 or 4 references to voids and travel and body, but is it Pete does, or as you call him, Frodo does the lyrics for those? I
think I did the lyrics for that one.
Oh, good.
But that one was kind of, I suppose it was off the back of the sort of Cassini space sort of, we're in space at this point. We're taking you into the future, we're, you know, people living in space, and I suppose it was just kind of, I was sort of playing on that sort of almost alien sort of thing, you know, you're lost in space, you're one against something else, but you don't know what that is, and you're essentially sort of on your own, but it's, you know.
And then creating the soundscape, then obviously that the music came first and then the lyrics came on top of that.
Yeah, pretty much, actually. I think that's most of how we sort of do things. Like, it's always sort of music first and then the lyrics after, and
lyrics are total last, kind of.
Yeah.
I think you and Frodo have even figured out where you want to, like, shout or scream or in a song, and then you try and figure out, right, how many syllables do I need in this word to make it fit? Shuffling over this bit.
It takes us that long to think of what we want to talk about, I guess, and
how do you?
A lot of our songs doesn't have lots and lots of lyrics, but it's kind of like, well, what am I going to say here? So,
and how do you decide when a song is actually finished?
Until we don't want to change it anymore.
Yeah. I don't know. It takes us forever, like, to write stuff. Anyway, we are slow as hell. Like, I don't know. Eventually, I guess we just figure, right, I don't think we're going to make it any better than it is, so, and we're just dying to get back in the studio at that point. We're like, fucking hell, let's just go and record this shit.
I just want to be satisfied with it or something, you know. It's just sort of.
So Mark, you use a sample pad. Do you play that live as well?
Yeah, I don't know. Well, obviously, I haven't actually done this album live, but yeah, on previous recordings, and would have played those samples live. Frodo's got so many toys in front of him now that actually might be easier for him to handle samples. He's got a little sample pad player. Mine's pretty archaic drum pad kind of thing, you know. So it's probably easier for him to handle any samples that we would have going forward. But yeah.
And Craig, same. You have the synth, and you have a few other things going on as well, probably in the background, playing live.
I normally did. I don't do as much now. Like this album, I don't think I touched the synth at all. Actually, I think there was the last track maybe had a wee bit of a vocal synth type of thing going on, but that was about the only thing I touched when it came to synth. Like, so unless we're playing older stuff, and I can sort of muck around in a wee chaos pad or whatever it is.
Did you, having listened to the previous album, Danielle, did you notice the difference with the new one in relation to the lads?
I started with Tides, and then I worked my way back to Mark in the Day, and I think it feels like there's more layers on Tides almost. It seems like there's more depth to it. And it feels more round. I really enjoyed Mark in the Day, but I kind of feel Tides is more rounded off and polished. So it's kind of taking like that rawness. You still have that there and the edge, but a bit more polished. So yeah, it's pretty cool. I think he sent it. Did you send it to the US? Was it? I seen for it to be mastered. Was it?
Yeah, it was Brad Boatwright again, wasn't it? I think he did. Mark in the Day.
Yeah, he did Mark in the Day. He's done tons of albums.
Sleep, Dope, Smoker, for fuck's sake, like
it's ridiculous.
Whoa. Yeah.
He just has this list. If you just go to his webpage,
I have gone through it. And I've an exclusive. He's coming on the show. I reached out to him and I said, listen man, this is who I am. Your contribution to Irish metal is significant over the last few years, and I said, would you be interested in coming on the show? So he said, yeah, I'd be honoured to. So keep an eye out for that.
Nice one.
That's close.
Yeah.
Deadly.
He'll talk about Ian in glowing terms, anyway, because he did some job on that album. That's as I said, Tides. What a thing. Would you go to Danielle's track as well, Tumulus? Where did you come up with the title?
What's it called?
Tumulus.
Yeah, it was Peter again, actually. He should be on here. He can explain himself. No, Tumulus is, they're stone monuments, cairns, or graves, I guess, is what they are.
Sounds like a character behind the witch in the wardrobe.
But yeah, that's the whole song's about essentially burying your loved ones.
Archaic Irish sort of tale.
Yeah, lots of mines, lots of stone, that sort of thing.
Yeah, that's a kind of running theme through it, and I loved the next one as well, Moving Towards Total Disorganization. Great track. How was that road? Did you come up with a certain riff that just suited that track and build on it, or was there a few different songs, riffs put it together, or because it sounds like there's 2 or 3 songs in it?
Well, I think like a lot of our stuff, we just stumbled upon something that we thought sounded good in the room. like everything basically that's done. We just go in and sort of fart about with our instruments, and eventually someone plays something. We go, yes, that is fucking good. We all latch on to it. So yeah, I think you were farting about somebody that
literally, if you listen to just the start of it, and it's just the bass and the drums, it's like that bit there. I think that's literally where it started.
Yeah.
I mean, it just progressed into everything else, and then there was obviously photos coming in with the synth and things like that there. So
yeah. That's it. It's actually just like that little riff at the start, that bass sort of riff or motif or whatever is just repeated through the song kind of, and we're just sort of ramping it up, building up the heaviness until it gets the big fucking hitting the head off you kind of heavy part, and sort of boils back down again, hopefully, with loads of synths thrown in and hopefully layers of stuff, layers of different things.
And the last track then, The Burden, time is a circle, do we suffer to live in this world, exist in the void? There's the void reference again.
Void. Let's see, I'd listened to a lot of Arthur Schopenhauer audiobooks. So I was listening to a lot of philosophy, is essentially where that was coming from. The whole aspect was that, essentially to live is to like essentially sort of suffer, and then he was kind of getting into this whole aspect of non-existence is better than suffering, and it kind of you'd need to listen to it or read it, but it's a bit complicated. But it essentially was that's the question that it was posed: is do we suffer, to live? And that's kind of where it came from.
And was that an obvious track to end the album?
I don't know if it was obvious. I kind of felt that it was mostly heavy to end, like because it has a lot of that sort of existential sort of thoughts that are wrapped in with it, and it's kind of like, because I think a lot of the album has been talking about sort of living and dying, and the whole tides thing, the metaphor of a tide, and then it kind of comes to the end where it's the burden is the mental weight of living essentially, and then do we suffer to live? And I can't really explain most of it. You need to go and
listen to the song.
Philosophy. It's a lot more than I can explain, if you know what I mean. But yeah, philosophy is a bit of it's an interest, I guess. But yeah,
just had to have the album end on a downer, Craig, isn't that it?
That's
We're walking away feeling upbeat about anything. It's like,
I don't want to have with this. This is not American films. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Leave everyone with an existential crisis as they leave.
Exactly. Yeah. So think about your life.
Did you leave any tracks off the album for any particular reason?
I don't think we did.
No. With the only exception, maybe we did have like what was originally like a third track on the album. Like this is going way back a couple of years, which we just thought was plain shit in the end, and we were like, no, that's just rubbish. Like we gave up on it. None of us were enjoying it at all. So yeah, I think that's the only thing really. Everything else we sort of, I think we fashioned away the bits that we didn't like, and eventually ended up with those 6 tracks.
I don't think we don't end up working on full tracks and then just going, that's dumped, because generally full tracks are quite big. That's why we work in sections, smaller bits.
Yeah, like it's a common occurrence on the forums a lot, Danielle, is bands release an album into this void. There's the void reference again. I had to get that in. Sorry, but so you released it during COVID. Was that an easy decision to make?
I suppose it was. By that point, we'd been sitting on it for most of the year already.
Okay.
And then I wanted to put it out in 2020, and once we got talking to Roger and stuff, it just basically just didn't happen. And I had to go to January or whatever it was. Was it January?
Yeah. January just passed. So we recorded it.
These days or months, everything's a blur. It's all the same.
Yeah, we recorded it in 2019. Like in November, we were in the studio recording it, and I think we were still mixing it and just taking our time mixing it. And when COVID happened, we were still mixing it, and sort of, I suppose at that point we weren't in any particular rush to get it mixed, but just took our time with it. And
it just sort of slowed down, and then it was just, we didn't give up, but we just slowed down a lot. That's why, see if you look on the inside of the CD pack,
the
poster, it'll say 2020. You gotta open it. Gotta open it. It's gonna say 2020 on it. That's why it says 2020 on it, because we were going to release it in 2020 and never changed the poster. So
it's gonna be worth even more now, Richie.
Yeah.
The retirement package.
And Niall Doran, how did he come into your sights?
He came to one of our first gigs, like way back. We were playing a gig in a bar called Auntie Annie's in Belfast.
So it was referenced, by bands.
It was a cool wee venue. So I think our first 2 or 3 gigs were in there, maybe. And I showed up at one of the gigs. We didn't know who he was, but he came up to us after the gig and chatted to us. Just was talking about the studio, and I think he was kind of starting out in it at the time, Craig. He was sort of learning his engineering trade, kind of, and
most of he was maybe just fishing for clients, I think.
Yeah. He's definitely fishing for clients, definitely. And he was just putting out the word, basically, that they were around, and he came up and he was complimentary. He said, I really like what you're doing, and also they were doing good deals, I think, for bands who were kind of starting out.
Okay.
So, I don't know, eventually we got in touch with him then, after him putting that out to us, and it worked out brilliantly.
We got in touch with him, and then literally every recording after that, we've just went back to him.
Yeah.
It's like he knows what we're doing, so it's easier.
He's brilliant at what he does, and he knows what we're going for. So.
Does he vary it? Like, is it mainly metal bands? It's Start Together Studios in Belfast, isn't it?
Yeah. It's in the OES Centre.
Yeah. Oh, they do loads of stuff.
They do everything. Literally everything. Doesn't matter what you are.
Yeah.
Okay.
Massive variety of music.
Literally just everything. So.
Yeah, because when I seen it, I didn't think it sounded very metal. So.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
But like, how many studios are, like, how many options are up there for bands to record? Is Belfast, like, is there like 5 or 6 different studios, or is it more or less, or?
I honestly don't know. Because we've never gone looking for other studios, we landed on our feet with Niall and Start Together. Made the first record, we thought it was class, and we've gone back to him ever since. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah.
I literally know one. Bearcat, I think it's called.
Bearcat is one that has come up before,
Bearcat, but I'm not 100% sure if that's still going. I don't know if it's still going.
We go to Start Together, so and they're still going, so it's all good.
And like, what do you think yourselves about the Northern Ireland scene? How involved are you in it in relation to knowing what bands are releasing stuff, or it's a vibrant scene,
Yeah, there's so many amazing bands. Like, there's so many bands out there at the minute. We did the Great Dying split with Tome.
Yeah. How did that come about, actually?
How did that come about? Well, do you know what? Actually, one of those early gigs in Auntie Annie's, I remember Matt Salters and his brother coming up to chat to me at the bar. It could have been the same one that Niall was at, actually. And just saying, love that, guys. Like, that was one of our first gigs, and so it was quite complimentary and got chatting. I don't know what happened after that, though, how the Great Dying kind of came about. I think you were probably chatting to him about artwork as well, Craig.
Yeah, I have no idea how we got chatting to Tom.
Beers and good
they
idea.
just somehow became mates. Yeah, it must be true. He's the social one, you see.
He is. He's the extrovert of the band. I'm amazed that he's not
Talking to the
on.
wrong people here. Us two are the wrong people to talk to.
Frodo is the voice of the band, kind of.
He is. He knows everyone.
But I saw, Daniel, I saw the lads. There's footage of the lads playing in Cork. What's it called? It was like
The Poor Relation, was it?
no, it was like the Cork community. Fucking, I don't know what the name of the
Print shop. Cork Community Print Workshop.
Yes, that's it. And I'm nearly sure there's a young Evan Prendergast up at the front row giving his socks. You know Evan from Worn Out, lads? No?
Yeah.
No, I don't know.
Does he
I don't
have
think I know.
dreads? Because I think he did. He have dreads back then.
He definitely had the
Long hair, anyway.
no, he had the fucking customary shirt, lumber shirt, and just the body shape and all. I'm nearly sure it was him at it. But like, he have a great reputation of coming down to Cork. Why is that?
We'd met, what do you call her? I've forgotten her name now.
Was it Rona?
Rona, yeah, that's right. Yeah. I'd met like Rona one time up here, and she said that she had this, or she was working, or however that place actually ran, print workshop, and they were going to put bands and things like that on. So essentially, she just talked to me, and then invited us down once, and we were like, "This is class. This is like massive warehouse. It's like screen printing stuff, you know, band stage, and it was just this class wee place." And we've just literally just came there once, and then we've known people and just kept coming back, like, and that's it.
Yeah. And did you play in Cork as well with Conan?
We did.
Oh, wow.
That was Cypress Avenue, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Class.
Yeah.
That was the fucking loudest gig, man, I've been at in years.
That was amazing to get the,
They were supporting us as well.
Hey, tell Craig. Come on.
in chronological order.
And how did you come up with the name?
Nomadic Rituals. Jeez, I don't know.
Don't tell me Frodo's going to get the credit for that as well. Come on, man.
I think you're taking that one again, Craig.
Yeah, I did come up with it, but I don't know. It just kind of just came across, nomadic. The idea of traveling and moving around, and then rituals is like it's not just the spiritual sort of ritual, but like the everyday sort of thing that you just kind of rotate around your life and keep doing, and it's a ritual, So nomadic rituals can be like.
And did the name of the band come before the name of the song, The Ritual, then, or were they kind of tied in, or were they completely separate?
I think the name came first, and then it was like.
Yeah, the band.
We started playing this song, and then it was just like, we're going to call this the Ritual, like that's this is the Ritual.
There was a band on last week's show called Senescence.
Oh yeah.
No Senescence.
Yeah.
So
I don't know if we've ever played on seeing Bill with them. I can't remember now, but we've seen them plenty of times in Belfast. Yeah.
The money, Daniel, they were making per gig.
What?
Crazy. I was like telling everyone, I was like, oh my God, I was like, Lurgan is the place to be.
They were pulling £900 a gig, lads.
What?
Hi.
Yeah.
I don't know about this.
I don't think we've pulled £900 in all the gigs
What
we've
have we
ever
been
played.
doing wrong? Is this what you're trying to tell us? We've been doing it all wrong.
I'm telling you now, Anto, driving around in a 5 Series Beamer back in the 2010 when nobody was.
Yeah.
It was fascinating.
That's crazy.
There was a scene back then that a lot of bands didn't play Lurgan, and there was like this is now from a Cork man now trying to describe where they played, but he described it as 3 or 4 different venues that they were able to get serious money in, and then when they go up to Belfast, then they get offered £100 or.
Wow. So you're saying go to Lurgan? Is that what you're saying?
Amazing, isn't it?
Let's find out the Lurgan scene, Craig, and get these gigs happening.
Good.
Yeah, well, you have to talk to Anto, man. You have to go through Anto now. It's like The Sopranos at this stage. So, tell us about your gig in Lithuania. How did that come about?
That is with Adam, or Adumas, from Wheat Priest.
Ah, very good. Yeah, nice one.
Yeah. So, also played Galway a couple of times back in the day. In fact, how many times is that? Maybe 3 times to say. But Wheat Priests were always there. I think it was the guys from Wheat Priest who were running the festival the first 2 times we played.
Hexen House.
Yes, that's it.
That was Walpurgis night, was it, or one of those?
Walpurgis,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's the one. Yeah, that's it.
Were 10 ton slug at that one by any chance?
I don't know. No, I think maybe
The
just the guys
the
were
last
playing
one in
in Wheat
Galway
Priest.
we played with 10 ton slug, I think.
Yeah, the last time we played in Galway was 10 ton slug were playing. They were like, I think they were maybe headlining the day, kind of.
Yeah, was that like 2018 or something?
Yeah,
I think I was at
sounds
that.
about right. Yeah, it was a cool day. It was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Lots of good
that.
bands on.
I was at that, yeah. It was on, was it The Loft or something in 7?
That sounds
Yeah,
about
it was-
right.
Yeah, class gig. So I probably caught ye, but I was probably on a different planet, really, on that
Fair
stage.
enough.
Yeah, but yeah, no, great gig. But yeah, Lithuania. You played in Lithuania, but you haven't played in Limerick, lads. What's going on?
What's that all about?
Yeah,
Look, we've put the word out to the seeds of Limerick.
Yeah.
They've never picked us up, so we're here, just putting the word out.
We're ready.
They are listening. They are listening.
yeah.
But go on, anyway, let's tell us, is there there's surely a tour story over your adventure in Lithuania worth telling?
Was there?
I don't know if there's nothing particularly titillating or anything, but just the fact that we didn't play very well, I would say.
Really?
I'd say we were a bit ropey. We ended up playing last on the bill.
What time
And it was an
did you
all-night
come on it?
festival.
There was a lot of free
I
beer.
think we weren't playing until like 1 a.m. or something like that.
Off.
Yeah, quite possibly later. We
You fell
had
into the trap, did you?
the beers were offered. We took the beers. We maybe didn't count the beers. Like we were taking the beers and didn't look at the percentage of the beers.
Oh, fuck, yeah, of course.
I don't think it was our best performance, let's say, but I think we probably got away with it. Like, let's be fair, let's be honest, the audience were probably completely fucking blittered at that point anyway, so, and they probably didn't know what we were making to sound like.
There's a video of it if you want to find it.
Oh,
That's what I was going to ask. Was there footage?
Don't look for
There is
it.
video.
Oh, you can find it if you want, but don't critique it. It's not our finest.
And how did you get to it? Did you drive or did you fly or what?
We just flew to that one, and Adam picked us up at the airport, and we stayed at his with his partner and kid for 2 or 3 nights, I think.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, it was class, and Adam and his family were great to us, and Vilnius was class. It's a great place.
Yeah.
Oh, they've got amazing fried bread.
Oh yeah, garlicky fried bread.
Sounds
Honestly,
good.
it's the
It's a
only.
sensational
Honestly, I've
beer
never
snack.
tried it until you've never had anything like it until you go to Lithuania and eat their fried bread.
And,
It's like just.
and was there much of a turnout for the gig? Do you think it's a viable option for other bands, Irish bands, to get to Lithuania and using Adam as a connection?
I suppose he probably has connections with other. I mean, he wasn't the one fully organising Infeast.
Yeah.
But I suppose he could get through to him, and there's other people that organise it. Like so.
Yeah.
So how does a band
Yeah, I
like
mean-
Nomadic Rituals go about trying to get a European date locked in? I know, just push aside COVID for a minute. I mean,
Emails,
you've been,
emailing, talking to people.
You've been going since 2012, so I'd imagine there's certain targets that you'd like to hit in Europe.
I think in some cases we maybe haven't tried to push it or maybe you would disagree, Craig, but like we've kind of let offers come to us, and we went and played in Copenhagen on a wee like Copenhagen Oslo kind of double date thing, which was amazing as well. But that offer came to us, so I guess we don't know how. Maybe we don't know how to make it happen, like or
never. Yeah,
what avenues to go down.
Making a round tour date sort of thing, but we've done a couple of days, and it's really just down to just emailing people and just chatting to them, and because that's how we got the Norway gig, and then I got chatting to the guy there, and he said, talk to this person in Denmark, and then I suppose it's just networking, really, is what it comes down to.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I think there's enough lads in the scene in Ireland that would be confident enough in securing UK dates, as in Scotland. There's a fantastic relationship with Scotland at the moment in the Irish metal scene, you know. I know you played Glasgow. How was that for you?
Oh, it was really good.
That's great, yeah.
There was a guy from here, actually. What was his name? I don't remember his name.
Andrew, wasn't it? Yeah, he got in touch with us, and he was from just outside of Belfast, I think, living over in Glasgow, and put us up for the night, went over on the boat, and I'm sure doing Glasgow or Scotland a couple of dates and going down into England, even the north of England, that's all definitely doable. Hopefully we will get to do that.
I mean, what kind of transport have you got? Like we'd say, have you got the van, or have you got cars? Or
Mark's car.
Got my car, and that's about the height of it, really. And it's
the drummer, you see, he's got all the wheels.
Yeah, it's terribly sizable, to be fair.
They don't have a Pavel machine there, Richie.
They don't. Doesn't sound like it. Yeah, Pavel.
Is that the guy from Soothsayer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
10 ton slug.
Yeah.
Z-Rain.
Yeah, Z-Rain as well.
Voted the most valuable member of the Irish metal community in 2000 and what was it, 20 or 21?
21, wasn't it?
Right.
Yeah, we get.
Or no,
20.
20, yeah. That's he had the honour there. We actually were there. We presented. We got him down to my studio, and then we presented him with a fucking big mug with a massive, was it 2-litre thing of beer inside it, and a jar of pickles as well.
Nice.
Significance to the pickles.
Yeah. He's a big fan of pickles. That's his thing. Yeah. Pavel pickles.
And social media wise, lads, who's the guy that tackles that?
Oh, that's me.
It's the boss.
That's me.
And how do you not cope with it, Craig?
How do you not cope with it? How do you cope with it? I don't know. I mean, you need to do it, is basically the bottom line of it. I need to do it, and then it's like, if I don't do it, then no one knows about it, and this is a modern day.
The true burden, Craig,
yeah,
I think.
This is the thing, you gotta think about these things, you know? This is modern day.
I think Mark is on an easy ride, Daniel. What do you think?
Yeah. He's got a car. That's why he's bringing this.
That's it.
I used to know how to put a beat together.
I knock out beats, drum beats, drive, and put paper on printers. Take them off again. T-shirts too.
You do not put fingerprints in those papers.
It's exceptionally good paper placement.
Are any of you in other bands, lads?
No.
Really?
Yeah, no, I'm not. I don't know, unless Mark's got secret bands, but
Mark's playing in a wedding band that makes.
I have done that before. Before Nomadic Rituals,
profession.
Really?
I sort of fell into that by accident. I had been playing drums for very long, and a couple of mates ran a wedding band type, pub band, covers band type thing, and they needed a drummer to fill in for a gig, so they persuaded me to do it, and well, they thought I played well enough to want me to do it more, so I did it for a little bit anyway, and then Nomadic Rituals happened. So.
You left the wealth.
Yeah.
Potential earnings.
Yeah. I don't think they were getting paid as much as Innocence, though, to be fair. And Lord.
Maybe Nomadic Rituals could make it as a wedding band. You never know.
Oh yeah.
Your wedding is gone, and I can't see. Hey, Evan, who knows?
Yeah. Who knows?
But I mean, a lot of bands have members that are in other bands as well. Would you ever think of, because like you did a split, would you ever think of collaborating with maybe one or two other members of bands and releasing something under a different name? Like how much are you writing material wise, or is it just for the band and you're happy enough with that?
Well, actually, Frodo has been in the studio lately with Space Shepherds. He's been doing Wibbly synths for, I think they've got kind of a fluid membership, so this might be the first recording that they're actually doing. I think it's kind of spacey, jammy rock type stuff. So that should be pretty cool. Looking forward to hearing it. I mean, I think, I don't know, be kind of open to trying other music, I guess, as well. But I suppose it's all about finding time. You have to find the opportunity or something, get chatting to someone, see where that's going to come from. But
like, what about your? Sorry, Craig?
I was saying to Frodo that we should take all the bands that are in our practice room and just collaborate in one big.
That sounds good.
Band jam.
That'd be class.
Where are you practicing?
It's over in East Belfast, place we practice, and so we're in there. The Space Shepherds are in there these days.
Anyone else?
Elder Druid are in since the start of the year. So there's a lot of drum kits in there. There's a lot of amps. It's a pretty good setup.
Super group.
Yeah, you heard about what happened down in Cork, didn't you?
I did see a couple of stories on social media. Like, what happened actually? What was that all about?
Over to you, Daniel. I've said it enough times.
Basically, it was a bit chaotic. Like, Evan just told a story. He got a call saying there's like a guy down here causing hassle, saying that he's like, was he going to take all the stuff, Richie, out of?
Yeah. Did you hear about this Karen said about it from Soothsayer?
Yeah.
You mentioned about it. Yes.
Yeah. So basically, he was like, we're taking all the gear. It's basically, your man wasn't paying the rent.
Get out of the rehearsal rooms, basically.
Get out, and your man wasn't paying the rent, by the way, and basically causing a big scene for no reason. The guards came down. The guards were unhelpful. And so people were really panicking, thinking they weren't going to get access to their gear, and it was just basically a big situation that could have been avoided. But your man had no right to. It wasn't even the landlord. It was like the landlord's brother or something that came down, and he'd no legal rights. There's no documentation, anything like that.
But the guards were sympathetic to him more so than the lads.
Yeah,
that were panicking, frantically trying to grab equipment and. That was the thing. Everybody was coming down really quickly. The car park was full of people trying to get their gear out, just causing panic, sheer panic. In the middle of COVID restrictions as well.
No reason whatsoever, not needed at all. So. Yeah,
I think a lot of bands have moved back into the rehearsal studios, and it has been resolved to a degree.
I think so, yeah.
So, but yeah, it's a situation there that there was probably 30 bands in those rehearsal studios, and they were paying full rent right through, even though they had no access to those rehearsal studios during COVID.
Yeah. And apparently there was just an issue with the fella running it, and his and the landlord not being paid properly and stuff. It was just all a bit of a mess, but hopefully it'll be resolved, because that would be a massive loss to the Cork scene.
Huge.
Sure.
Massive.
Yeah.
It's kind of there's one other place, but I don't really know how good that is in Cork, Bubble Studio. But yeah, it's the go-to spot, and your man is really, really nice, the guy who runs it. He's Richie as well. He's really, really sound. I've dealt with him a few times, but yeah, maybe, I don't know, is there an opening for another studio or rehearsal space in Cork as well? There's so many bands down there.
Yeah. I think there is, but again, who's going to step
take it
up
on?
to the mark and take it on? Yeah. So yeah, that was what happened anyway.
That's a really shitty situation by the sounds of it.
Yeah.
But I mean, how hard are rehearsal studios to come across in Belfast?
I think in our building there's a handful of rooms that are being used by bands, but it's not like one of those sort of centre points for band rehearsal places like you're describing in Cork. There's a few other places in Belfast, like the Westlink Enterprise Centre and Blackstaff.
Blackstaff has come up before, yeah.
Yeah, I think they're sort of quite heavy with band rehearsal rooms.
Is that an old mill or something like that, or?
They're all old mills.
Are they really?
we work in an old mill.
We're in an old mill.
Playing an old mill. Blackstaff's an old mill. There's loads of old mills.
My knowledge of the Northern Ireland scene is fucking ridiculous at this point.
It is.
I've had so many bands on from Northern Ireland, and that's an old mill. Yeah. I can't wait to get up there again. Fuck's sake!
I can't wait to get up there from your review of the Elder Drew gig, and was it the Voodoo that you're in?
Yeah,
the Voodoo Lounge is called.
Daniel, you love it. There's a cocktail bar downstairs as well, so we can be doing cocktails and going back up and down the stairs, which is what I was doing.
Oh, deadly! Yeah. Definitely gonna make it up there.
Nice cocktails.
Fucking right, man.
Yeah. So it's the one thing Limerick is missing is there's no metal bar in Limerick. It's terrible.
That's why I haven't been.
Yeah.
Hey, don't be cutting off your nose to spite your face there, Craig.
Yeah.
And what?
We'll be down. I'm just saying.
Yeah. What are your before we go then? So, what are your influences? What drives the band musically wise? What are you all listening to that forms Nomadic Rituals sound?
I suppose
Start with you, Mark. Come on, Mark. You're gonna have to work with this one.
Yeah, big and heavy stuff. I suppose it's big heavy sound. Like it's sort of main goal of the band. So, bands like Yob and Conan and Neurosis are sort of doing that sort of thing. But also, like, so Yob obviously aren't big and heavy, but have some nice layers and atmosphere and melodic parts to them. So. There was a band to look up to, I guess. There's obviously a lot of synth going on in our stuff, so I know Craig and Frodo love the Hawkwind. Like, I'm not so familiar with it, but
Hawkwind.
Yeah, Hawkwind. Yeah.
Wow, back in the 70s, Hawkwind.
Yeah.
Why? Those ones.
Yeah. Was it one of you guys that started that playlist, Sonic Doom Plus Plus on Spotify?
Impressive.
I'd like to say thank you very much, because I've gotten so many tunes off of that. It's I'd be listening to it when I'm working, and I'm just like, oh, this is a great tune. There's loads I didn't know on it.
What is it called, Daniel, for those that missed it?
Sonic Doom Plus Plus.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Great mix of stuff in there. I nearly lost my life when Space Truckin' by Deep Purple came on. I was like, yes! Grooving out. Yeah.
Fantastic. Honestly, fantastic.
Yeah.
So, Craig, what was on that playlist that, got you into music? Was it the likes of Hawkwind and Deep Purple, or where were you coming from?
Yeah, I mean, if you literally talk Deep Purple, I'll say my dad gave me the record and I played the record. Do you know what I mean? There's a load of stuff that he had, but there's Deep Purple, Machine Head, that's it.
Yeah.
Put that on.
My dad's favourite band. That's how I started listening to music as well, was Deep Purple.
Deep Purple, and then Genesis was the other one. That Foxtrot. It's a mental album, but it's brilliant.
That's an old one. Fucking hell, Foxtrot. Jesus Christ. And like, were you always a bass player, Craig, or had you kind of flirted with guitars, or?
I mean, well, I started off playing acoustic guitar, and then I got a wee electric guitar, and eventually got a bass guitar, and then stuck with the bass guitar. But I play a wee bit of 6-string guitar.
Jesus. Good luck with that.
It's too many strings.
I'd wonder, like, I'm struggling with the 4 strings. I haven't played the bass in around nearly, I suppose, 28 years, and I'm back playing at the moment, jamming with a mate of mine.
Nice one.
Yeah.
Thumb out.
Yeah, fucking fingers, man. Yeah.
Richie, I'm 28.
There you go. Fuck's sake. Remember when you were on about those fossils, Craig, you see? That's what I'm on about. So
what sort of
that's...
stuff are you playing yourself then at the minute, Richie?
That's a great question. We are kind of doing some punk, some... I'm trying to, like, my mate is kind of... into doing, like, okay, so he's 10 years older than me, so he has done the wedding fucking circuit so many times. So, yeah. But like, he's a fucking gifted musician, so he could listen to anything and just play it on spec. So I was giving him Fugazi, I was giving him Early Police, I was giving him like so many different stuff, and he's just going, yeah, 2 seconds listening and getting the fucking chords.
Who's that, Richie?
Oh, you wouldn't know him at all.
No. Oh, okay.
No, it's a guy, Marty. He's just a gifted musician. He's been a musician all his life, basically, in bands. And, as I said, I'm showing him new stuff, and he's getting me back playing the bass. So it'll be an interesting situation developing out of it, But it's great. It's great. I'm finally playing a fucking instrument again after so many years.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm mad to get back into the drums now. Just when you move out of home, the drums stay at home, and you move in places you can't have drums. So it's just trying to get a place where I can play it. It's so difficult, and I had an electric kit for a while, but I didn't have one with the mesh heads, and it was crap. So I'm thinking of investing maybe in one with mesh heads, at least so I can get the kind of bounce off it properly,
Oh yeah, definitely. Do you know what I actually got recently? I got a wee cocktail kit for the house, wee practice kit.
Oh yeah, cool.
I got mesh heads for it. I can't remember what they were. Remo silent stroke heads, maybe, or something like that. Or no, they were the Evans version of them. And you get these like cymbals, low volume cymbals that have holes in them. So
cool.
That's pretty good. It's a nice setup because I know what you're talking about with the electronic kits. Just doesn't feel right. No. This is pretty close to feeling like the real thing. Not maybe 100%, but it's
close
good
enough. Cool, yeah.
Those wouldn't be cheap though, lads, would they? I'd guess.
No. From looking at reviews, like the cheapest mesh headset that's anyway decent is about 350, which isn't too bad, kind of the entry one. But like if you're looking at Roland kit, you're looking in the thousands for a decent set, like so.
Wow.
Yeah, not cheap.
Yeah.
And did any of you go mad over lockdown and buy some new gear?
That little drum kit, really, for me.
Okay. Craig?
No. I have this acoustic guitar that came out of a skip. Don't me. I'm joking. I call it the skip shredder. It's amazing.
Oh wow!
It came out on, before we had left work. There was a skip outside work, and there was a guitar sitting on top of it. So I took the guitar, and I had this beat.
I'm hoping I'll walk outside of work and there'll be a drum kit just sitting on top of a skip. That will work out well.
Okay, so lads, I'm going to end this, unfortunately, and thank you for coming on the show, man. As I said, Nomadic Rituals, Tides, check it out. It is one of the best releases this year. Would you agree, Danielle?
100%, yeah.
100%, yeah. And
Definitely.
we love it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So congratulations, lads, and do not be shy coming down to Cork. Again, we would love to have you down when all this shit clears off.
We'll be back.
We'd love to see you down there.
Absolutely.
We'll come to Limerick too.
Good. I'll go along to Cork to see if I have to, don't worry.
That's right.
So, one other thing, I want to dedicate this show to the memory of Ronan Bones Connor, who sadly passed away suddenly on the 28th of March. Sincere condolences to his family, friends and bandmates during this sad time.